this heat wave sure has taken its toll. So we've decided to do the only wise thing and rack ourselves up for another alcohol-free Thursday. And of course, when we talk AF, it can mean only one thing. That's right, the absolute game changers, the Mash Gang. And today they have a little helping hand from Newcastle's Alpha Delta. Today we have a brew that should tick all the right boxes. A sour AF Pale Ale, inspired by the New York State Sour Pales. A style, I must admit, I have not come across before. But no matter how strange it may sound, it is very much a pale ale. Just a little more fun and exciting. And as I've really liked the other sours and pales I've had from them so far, I'm quite confident I'm going to enjoy this. Hopped with the Dorado Incognito, Citrus Spectrum, the Talus, and the Mandarina Bavaria. This promises to be a hazy, heavily hopped juice bomb with a sour twist, bringing huge orange vibes and a lick of vanilla to smooth things off, and a whole heap of further adjuncts to boot, including orange oil, Madagascar bourbon vanilla, yardamate, and green coffee beans, with a complex grain bill to boot, including rye, spelt, wheat and oats, to increase the body and that mouthfeel. And if you have seen any of my other AF reviews, you may have noticed it's in that body and in that mouthfeel where I am most critical. As although they have come along leaps and bounds over the last couple of years, they still haven't quite captured the real feel. So I am always very keen to see if someone can get that little bit closer. And this sounds like it could well be the one. Every part of this beverage has been interrogated at every stage, from water profile to CO2 levels, for maximum enjoyment. And like I always say, Mash Gang are really bringing the heat in the AF world. And let's face it, Alpha Delta are no slouches either. So let's turn up the resolution and go high definition. Wow, it is real fruity on the nose. Lots of tropical and citrus notes. It's got a real pineapple and lime vibe to it. And of course, a huge burst of orange. And there is an almost floral, grapefruity note tickling away at the bottom. So it is quite sweet, quite tropical up top, that pineapple really leading the way. But it does fade into some more citrus notes quite soon on, as bitter orange and lemon start to grow in those middles. And it fades out with a real bitter grapefruit. But it must be said, it is still quite thin. It's quite watery, and it does have a noticeable tinge of carbonic acid. And it also must be said, there isn't much by way of sour notes. It's definitely got a real bitter bite to it. And I've got to admit, there hasn't been much by way of development. If anything, it's starting to resemble some stale old dishwater. And of course, we have only gone and done it again. We've sat ourselves down with another dud. So I guess I don't even have to wait for the final third, as any form of assessment on this is completely in vain. I am gonna have to remember where I'm picking up these brews and make sure I'm not there again. But to be fair, if you're sitting on one, it does make for a half-decent AF West Coastie. And I said in the last Drop Bear review I might think about coming back for a revisit. Well, in this case, I'm definitely keeping an eye out for it. Just checking the date this time. So all I can do is apologise to you, my faithful viewer, me for wasting my evening, and of course the MASH gang for dragging their name through the mud. I knew you guys would never serve us up a can of fairy liquid.